Hello and welcome to another custom action figure video. This time I've got something quite interesting to go over. So Inslogic very kindly sent over 3 different types of resin for me to test, or more so 2 different types, but the detail resin is 2 different colours. So you can see there's the solid grey, the chestnut red, and the 70A black, which is a flexible resin, which is something I think is really cool. Starting off with the high detail resin, these are the settings. I found that these work fine. I do have a couple tweaks to the flexible resin, which I'll show you later on. But I got some really good results out of this. Now firstly, this is the resin I use to get Heat Blast's red brown parts. It's the perfect colour, it works really nicely, you can see it has a really nice finish on it when it's printed. It's kind of just the main thing I go to when I'm making these parts. Now for high detail parts, it does get a phenomenal level of detail. This is a head that I was 3D printing for Brickaway. I can't quite get the level of detail from just doing it in my booth, so here are some videos I took earlier. This is a slightly larger scale one, but it kind of just gets the point across a little bit better. You can see all of the actual fabric detail from this sculpt. Like, all that detail that you're seeing in between the cobweb pattern is a fabric texture. So to be able to have scaled that down this much and still got that in there is just incredible. And also you've got the actual hexagonal detail in the eyes. Just outstanding. Now to do a real test, I've taken my cannon bolt sculpt, which I've been working on, and I've scaled it way down. And you can see it picks up all of the line work detail, even the little pattern in the Omnitrix on his forehead. And just for scale reference, you can see how small this is here. And this is just some standard white resin. White resin renowned for not showing up very well on camera. So don't worry, I have done a spray paint test. I've primed both of them with grey primer, and that should give us a little bit more reference point, really. And you can see here, obviously you can tell which one's the chestnut because it's still got the red showing through. But what I'm hoping you can see is the details on the right hand side of the standard white resin are much more rounded off. The one on the left just keeps the crisp edge work. Like, the Omnitrix details are still visible on the left, but it's just a circle on the right. Very, very impressed with this high detail resin. And hopefully you can see what I'm kind of getting across here. Now, I have also 3D printed using the grey resin, and it's pretty much the same stuff, just in a different colour. Here's the settings here on the back as well. Now, I did 3D print some stuff for other people as well using this, and this is a sculpt by the amazing Jeepers Creatures over on Instagram. You'll see his page in a second as well. So the original sculpt was completely done by hand. He's then 3D scanned it, brought it into a software, done a bit of touch up and sent me the file. I've then modified it slightly to remove the base that was on it, but I've also done prints with the base for my family. And this is just phenomenal work on his end. And while I absolutely love this sculpt, I don't think this shows off his skills quite as much as some of the other stuff. So this is his Instagram, it will be linked below as well. Please do check it out, it does incredible drawings and incredible sculpts. And this is some of the other stuff I've done for him. So this is the sunrise, exact same stuff, just orange instead of red or grey. And these are some of the things he's sculpted. I don't think it quite comes across on camera just how impressive these sculpts are. So this is another one that will have been sculpted by hand, 3D scanned, run through an editing software for little touch-ups, and then sent to me to print. This is just some phenomenal sculpting. And now, like you might have saw in that screenshot, there is also the mask, which I also printed in orange, which gives it a weirdly almost realistic skin tone, especially if you're Trump. And there's something quite harrowing about the eyes, which obviously there's a new part that gets added in there. Also, the high detail resin does such a good job of capturing detail, it captures the outline of the light in the Halo X1. And this is another part which is just a piece of a sculpt he was working on. He had a whole separate thing going on. Again, highly recommend you go check out his page, got some really cool stuff there. And now this resin picks up so much detail. I did have to mess with some settings on the Halo X1. For whatever reason, the Halo X1, I think due to the big vat, has a bit of a suction issue. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Now, this is something I've really been looking forward to getting into. this is flexible resin. Now, these are the settings that you can use just straight out of the bottle. I've tweaked mine slightly so they work better. I found there's a few things that work a little bit easier with retraction and with the transition layers. Now, you guys are probably very familiar with my Ripjaws custom. When I sell the kits, I sell it with this clay piece. So this is a flexible clay, it's an air drying clay. I usually take the clay, put it in a stamp that I've made, cut it out and send 2 pieces of this, obviously for his loincloth. And while that works, it does mean I can't produce them very quickly, because they need time to air dry. But now I've changed it, and I can print them in flexible resin. They're more durable, they've got a better return to them, they're less likely to rip than the clay is. And in theory, I can get them done faster. The clay takes around 12 hours to dry fully. This print takes between 6 and 9 hours, depending on what settings I run it on. Now, this is it with the support still attached. One thing that's worth mentioning that I absolutely love about this material, you can just cut the supports with scissors, because it's just got that flex to it, it just cuts like paper. And something else that's really cool about this, it holds paint really well just straight off of the curer. So I cured this, immediately hit it with some gloss black, and no paint cracking, no flaking. Obviously the paint has to have a bit of flex in it, so I'll show you 2 of the paints that I recommend for having some flex to work with the resin. And you can see there, no flaking, so that's the High Coat Gloss Black. High Coat I've known for a while, it's quite flexible. I also tried the green that I use for spray painting Ripjaws. No cracking at all. And this isn't fresh paint, this has been sat for about 4 days, so this is fully cured. No cracking, no chipping, no flaking. It adheres so well to the resin, and the resin just does a great job of holding that flex and holding the paint, so I didn't even need to prime this. And that's the Plasticoat paint that I used. So this type of Plasticoat seems to work really well for flexi paint, so you can use that as well. Now here is the slicer. This is Pt.1 Pro. If you want to get Pt.1, I highly recommend it. Really, really good for 3D printing. This is the one I've been using for the last 7 years. I do have a link in the description as well that will get you a discount if you get the annual plan for the Pt.1 Pro. And I do recommend Pt.1 Pro. Pt.1 Basic is good, but you know, it's Pro for a reason. Now with the support material, you can see I have increased the actual surface area of the supports. So rather than being a straight line, I've increased the cone massively. This is to give it more surface area, and so the transition layers have something more to grip to the original base. I've just found that occasionally the supports were peeling away from the bottom layer, and this is because this resin, obviously it being flexible, means it's a lot stickier during the print process, so it's adhering to the FEP sheet a lot, which means that as the print bed is raising out of the resin, the FEP sheet is kind of deforming with it and raising up. So you need to, what I found is increase the retraction so that it fully separates from the FEP sheet before coming down for another layer, because when it's sticking to the FEP sheet and it's not fully detaching, when it goes to build another layer, it isn't at all. So when it does eventually separate, there's then too big of a gap for resin to cure back to the print bed, and that's the issue I've been finding. However, I find that when the FEP sheet is running out of lifespan anyway. For example, ABS resin tends to do that too. And you'll see here, this is the retraction. I did up it by quite a lot. That is normally around 2mm. I've upped it to 10 for the Mars 4 Ultra. I upped it even higher for the Saturn, because the Saturn's got a much bigger print volume. So I upped that by, I think I upped it by about 22mm. So essentially it goes an extra 2cm away, just so it's fully disconnecting from the FEP sheet, allowing it to print better. And now this is an older version of Pt.1. I just use it because I find it easier with the Saturn 3 Ultra. Still Pt.1 Pro, but a little sneak peek as to what I'm working at there. So yeah, highly recommend both, well, Pt.1 Pro and these resins. I am flabbergasted by the Flexi resin. You can see I'm using it for another project later on, which is going to be coming out next week. Just incredible. Expect to see this Flexi resin again very, very soon, and for a lot more projects going forwards. So huge thank you to Inslogic. Go check it out, and I'll see you in the next video.